Salutations, my Fallout lovers. It is Matty here today, bringing you both a Fallout 4 news update and Fallout 4 discussion video in one. So, obviously it's a late night Fallout 4 video, so you know something's happening that's very important to the Bethesda community, and that's why I'm here tonight, or whatever time it is where you're watching it, or later, who knows. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, this week's podcast, we talked for almost 15 minutes about how Bethesda and Valve have teamed up to bring in a new paid mod system on Steam Workshop where mod creators can generate revenue and eventually turn it into a job if their mods are successful enough by just making mods for Bethesda's games. It was a good idea on the outside, but now since there's been such a huge backlash, reasonably so, but to a point it gets a little disgusting, but there's been such a big backlash that within a few days they have rolled back this system. So I'm going to go ahead and read a quote from both Valve and Bethesda and then highlight a certain little quote that sticks out to me and how this all ties into Fallout 4 in the end. So without further ado, let's get into this. So the first quote I'm going to go ahead and read from is Valve. It says, "We're going to remove the payment feature from the Skyrim Workshop. For anyone who spent money on a mod, we'll be refunding you the complete amount. We talked to the team at Bethesda and they agree. We've done this because it's clear we didn't understand exactly what we were doing. We've been shipping many features over the years aimed at allowing community creators to receive a share of the rewards, and in the past they've received well, or they've been received well. It's obvious now that this case is different." So very humble. I respect this entirely. This is actually very hard to say as a big company. Anyways, moving on. To help you understand why we thought this was a good idea, our main goals were to allow mod makers the opportunity to work on their mods full-time if they wanted to, and to encourage developers to provide better support to their mod communities. Much like we said in the Ham Radio podcast, how this money that Bethesda could have generated from this could have been put into a more easy, accessible get kit for mod developers for Fallout, or the creation kit for Skyrim, etc. Anyways, we thought this world would result in better mods for everyone, both free and paid. We wanted more great mods becoming great products like Dota, Counter-Strike, DayZ, and Killing Floor, and we wanted that to happen organically for any mod maker who wanted to take a shot at it. Understandable. But we underestimated the differences between our previously successful revenue sharing models and the addition of paid mods to Skyrim's Workshop. We understand our own games community pretty well, but stepping into an established years old modding community in Skyrim was probably not the right place to start iterating. We think this made us miss the mark pretty badly, even though we believe there is a useful feature somewhere here. Now that you've backed a dump truck of feedback onto our inboxes, we'll be chewing through that, but if you have any further thoughts, let us know." Once again, a very respectable response, and let's move on to Bethesda's response, and then we'll tie this all together. After a discussion with Valve and listening to the community, paid mods are being removed from the Steam Workshop. Even though we had the best intentions, the feedback has been cleared. This is not a feature you want. Your support means everything to us, and we hear you. Now, in the original article from Beth's blog here, I believe, I could have been reading it wrong, or misinterpreting it rather, but from what I said, when the Steam Workshop was first introduced in 2012. Apparently this system with paid mods may have been introduced at the same time. The way they worded it was a bit funky, so I don't want to say that's definite, but essentially it took 3 years for this whole program to roll through and get over all the legal and technical hurdles of this for this to happen. So for them to roll this back within a few days means they really do care about what the community says, and you'd be silly not to believe two of the most respected game developers out there. So anyways, why do I say this kind of ties into Fallout 4? Well, I'm going to highlight this quote right here. "But we underestimated the differences between our previously successful revenue sharing models and the addition of paid mods to Skyrim's Workshop. We understand our own gaming's communities pretty well, as in Left 4 Dead, Counter-Strike, etc. But stepping into an established, years-old modding community in Skyrim was probably not the right place to start iterating. We think this made us miss the mark pretty badly, even though we believe there's a useful feature somewhere here." So by that, you can tell that they're not done here. This is far from over. There's going to be plenty of updates on this in the next days, months, years, etc. They're going to be rolling this program back out again. The question is, with what game, rather? Because when you look at it, it seems like they have the great idea here that to make modding a full-time thing. I mean, you see these brilliant mods, and donations just aren't enough because not a lot of people want to donate. and they just want to take it for free because they don't want to spend the money. And I get that, don't get me wrong, not everyone shits money. But now making it a paid service, this can help the community, so I don't see them backing down on it. The reason I say this ties into Fallout 4 is because basically now they need a brand new, fresh modding community to step into. I know Bethesda's modding community as a whole is one thing, but I feel like this seems to be a good place to start because of how thriving it is, how Bethesda's community thrives off of the new quests and adventures, of the new land mods, of all these UI mods, etc. I feel like that's what they're aiming at with that. I don't think they just specifically go to Bethesda and be like, hey, you want to test this out with us? It seems like there's more to it. It wouldn't make sense for them just to give up with Bethesda. This seems to be a partnership and a deal between them to get this system to work together. And so I do feel that they will bring Bethesda back into this program with their next game, presumably Fallout 4. I could be grabbing straws here, but to me that does make sense. Now, don't dislike this video for the love of God, because that just upsets you, okay? That's not what the dislikes button's for, okay? People need to understand that. Dislikes don't bother me, but Jesus Christ, when they're used wrong, that's when it bothers me. Anyways, I just want to say that that's what I'm feeling right now, that Bethesda could be still working with Valve to bring this system back out in a new fashion where it's not like, you know, people have been modding Skyrim since 2012 or whatever. It's been ages, 2011 rather. It's been forever mods have been happening for this game. To roll it into this community was silly, but if modding starts on Fallout 4, then maybe it will work. But who knows, maybe people will go back to Skyrim, maybe it'll just not be a good system. Time will tell. But anyways, I wanted to bring you guys this quick Fallout 4 news update and discussion video. Let me know what you're thinking on this in the comments down below. Be sure to follow me on Twitter, like me on Facebook. Other than that, stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.